We are live and we're back.
Yeah, welcome back. You know what I mean? We took a nice little break during the Christmas holidays. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic break, during their holidays to relax, spend time with family, really rethink their goals for 2023.
And especially the relationship goals, right? What they want to
Those two,
gain. Mm,
those two.
yeah.
So, we're obviously going to get back into the groove. We actually have a lot of amazing announcements that we actually want to share with you before we get started in today's live. First of all, we actually want to say thank you to our fan base. We have a very small fan base, but we're growing it. But we do want to say thank you to the people that have supported the channel, people that have showed up, people that like the content, engage with the content, especially the reels. You guys have been all over those and the stuff on TikTok. So we definitely wanted to say, without you guys, none of this would be possible. So we definitely wanted to say thank you for that.
So, yeah, huge thank you. Much appreciation. Like we said, but without you guys, we're not gonna grow. So having your support and like Michael was saying about the reels, I mean, to us, we've really dedicated the past year and a half to, making a difference to people's dating life. So we're so appreciative of you guys supporting us and being there and hearing us. So
Exactly.
thank
And
you.
this is our second year too. So,
Mm, yeah.
we definitely want to hit some goals before our 2-year anniversary in July. Um, and we're really looking forward to, having at least like a celebration party or of some
Yes.
sorts if we do hit our milestones. And
When we hit our
July. Yeah,
milestone.
when we hit our milestones.
Yeah.
And we also have we're also going to have a private Facebook group as well, that you guys can jump into with privatized content, questions, comments, anything that you want to leave in there when it comes to dating and relationships. Maybe your personal story. We'll be sharing a lot in the private Facebook group, which should be ready by next week.
Woo.
So we're
Ready.
definitely want to bring the bangers to you guys and the surprises. You know what I mean? Our show is going to get more interesting as we go on, because we're working with some new people. We're doing some new things. And then with the clothing line as well, we're also going to be doing sweepstakes every week. Um, and what happens is we'll be giving away free clothing to whoever name that we drop. So, we have a lot of, innovative things. We also have privatized coaching as well. If you look on our link tree above, down below, actually, there'll be privatized coaching that you guys can book time slots, either from me or Anthea, that as well. And then we also have a questionnaire, I guess you could say, a video questionnaire. So if you have a question for us, it's going to literally be like a 3-minute video. Obviously, we charge for that because we'll have to sit down and think about the question, and it will be a video reply. So we have a lot of interesting stuff that we're going to be sharing with our audiences. We're trying to hit our goal by summer of 3 to 5K. We're going to be consistent from now until then and onwards. As you guys have watched us grow, we've taken a lot of breaks and tried to figure out some things, but I think our path is pretty clear now.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing. As we grow, we become clarity becomes part of it because you start understanding where's your business going, what is it you want to achieve out of it. And like Michael rightfully said just now, we're going to be giving away things because as we receive, we want to give back to you guys as our supporters. So yes, but without further ado, shall we get into the topic?
Yes, we should. You know what I mean? Now that we're back, we want to get back into the topic. And this topic for me is very interesting because it's not something that I ever thought of doing when I had my dating life, and that was qualifying a woman to be with me.
It's
Um,
interesting, isn't it, that you don't. I heard something earlier, and it was basically saying, everyone speaks about women qualifying their men, but where is qualifying a woman? Because he should be he deserves to have the best as much as the woman deserves to have the best.
well, that's the thing. it's not talked about because a lot of times they don't care about men's preferences. If we're being honest,
I care about men.
you care, but if we're looking at the majority don't care about men's preferences. It's just give me what I want. I'll think about what you want, maybe.
Yeah.
And then we'll go.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. So guys do have to be careful, because I'm not saying all women, but some women, there are some very selfish women out there. There are, and you have to be careful of that. So
especially, sorry, I was going to say, especially in today's age, in today's times, it's expanded within the universe, shall we say, of how many women have become like the boss babe, and everything's about what they want, and if you're not giving them what they want, then nothing fits.
Well, it's because women have so many options in this day and age. So yes, before we get started, I actually want to give a shout out to the content creator for doing this. Her name is Olivia Alexa. You know what I mean? Without her being able to, have this type of content, we wouldn't be able to react to it. So we're going to react to her video, and I've watched the video. Anthea hasn't. So again, we get that fresh reaction. So let's play her video, see what she has to say, and we're going to break down her points, and then we're going to give the conclusions at the end. Sorry, the video is just not playing, guys, but I will get the video playing so we can react to it. If there's anything you want to say, Anthea, until I get the video sorted, please go ahead, drop some gems, say what you need to say. You have to unmute your mic. You got to unmute your mic.
Whoops, my apologies.
No, that's fine. No, go ahead. Say anything you want to say before we get the video started there, and then.
I was just saying that one of the things that I think is for a man to qualify a woman is I think first and foremost you have to listen to how does she speak about her ex-partners, because that's big. It will give you a lot to understand about the woman.
Inflation.
Agreed. So I got the video, guys. We're going to get it working here, and we're going to play it. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what she has to say.
There's so much uncertainty about.
Hi, guys. I've seen so many men ruin themselves getting involved with a woman that isn't qualified to be with them in the first place. There's certain things that you can do to save you both the headache, because it's not about choosing one, it's about choosing the right one. You have to qualify someone to be with you, because not everybody is worth your time. So here's how you do it. Number one, get to know her a little. Right here is where a lot of men get caught up. This doesn't need to be a long, extensive period of talking or anything like that. Just enough conversation to get the information that you need that allows you to paint a clear enough image of who she is and who she isn't. You don't need to spend a bunch of time talking during this phase. Only a few conversations can give you the heads up. Communication says a lot, and it can tell you every single thing you need to know about someone by getting a glimpse into how their mind thinks and about who they are as a person. Number two, look for.
Okay, so number one was getting to know the person. What do you think about that one, Anthea? I have my takes, but what do you think about that one?
Well, I think we would assume that that's logical, but it doesn't seem to be logical. I think she's very right in what she's saying. A lot of people just jump into things from man to woman, like woman to man. People just jump into things because they get on with someone, but they're not really finding out about them. What's their values? Where they going in life? What do they want? Are they present? Are they somebody who's very negative, has a negative outlook on life? Do they have a very positive outlook on life? How do they feel about life, or in general about the world, or about men? I think you can ask questions to find out little things, like I said just before this video went on, if you don't take the time to find out or listen to how is the woman responding when you speak, or if she spoke about her ex, does she just cuss him out? Like, if that's what it is, then I just want to say I've experienced that with somebody where they were really putting their ex down, and I said, so that means that if me and you don't work out, you're going to do the same to me. Like, that doesn't make sense. When you split up with somebody, they're gone, they're your past. You don't put them down. You had an experience with them. But a lot of the times men and women, I want to say, don't stop to take that time, and then before you know it, they're in this relationship, then they realize they're not compatible for each other, but none of them will walk away just yet. They try and resolve it in arguments, they resolve in the wrong way, because they're not actually resolving it because they don't meet eye to eye. They don't have the same values as one another, so therefore the cracks begin to really show. So I think she's really on point in what she's saying.
See, I will say this from a guy's point of view, and I see a lot of guys make this mistake, is they're more interested in how she looks, because men are very visual. We know this, right? But the thing is, though, they ignore the core. She can be pretty, but she can be rotten on the inside. But then they don't care because they're like, well, she's pretty. And your job as a man is to be Batman. And what I mean by that is be a detective. Your job is to figure out how she fits into your life. That's what your job is, right?
It's like putting a glove on, isn't it? You're just fitting into that glove.
So you have to ask some questions. You have to ask deep dive questions. I'm not saying right in the beginning, right away, but from the baseline conversations, you should be able to tell, okay, you know what? They're worth me maybe asking out on a date. You know what I mean? Like, you should at least have enough information to see if you want to progress it forward.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of guys get caught up, because they get more caught up in her looks, instead of being like, okay, why is this pretty girl never able to keep a relationship? As Anthony said, they can't hold on to a partner. You know what I mean? These are all things you got to look at. Does she have trauma? Has she dealt with her trauma? These are all things that you have to look at. If you don't look at them, you're signing your own death warrant. And I tell that for both guys and girls. You sign your own death warrant when you don't know what you're signing up for. Because a lot of people, and it's asinine, and I can openly say that, you'll go to the bank and you will read every single paper that the bank puts in front of you, so you know what you're signing, right? Or like when you sign for a house, or you sign for anything that has to do with life choices. But you won't do the same level of diligence with a partner?
Yeah. I think we're just not, I think it's never really been taught that way, has it? To do that. And actually, when you think about it now, it's like, wow, had we been taught that way, then so many more people would have had such an amazing relationship, because they found out before they started getting pregnant, before they decided to move in with one another, before all of that, if they're compatible or not. And I think there's a lot of good key points you just brought up there, like, you know, saying we take the time for stuff, that the paperwork, we will take the time to find out. That's important in our life. But one of the most important, that's an asset. And, you know, a human being is a human being. So that's going to be for life. That property you might sell, you know, that car, you might sell it. But that woman is not, she's not for sale like that, you know, she's your woman. So you want to have a long-term lasting relationship for as long as it can possibly go, until the end of your lives, rather than getting together with somebody and just going by looks, like you said, because a lot of men are visual. It's just the looks, and then then after that, what happens? You know, you need to go deeper, guys. You need to go deeper. You need to see it and start getting to know women first.
Exactly, and that's it. It's like, why do you think they call Batman the world's greatest detective? Because he does all his due diligence before he does anything, right? And it's the same thing with us when our dating partners. You have to make sure that you do all your due diligence, because you'll date someone and then you'll get into a relationship with them, and then you're like, well, I didn't know that they didn't want kids, or I didn't know that they didn't want this, or that they didn't want that.
Or they don't like getting on aeroplanes, or they don't like traveling, or they don't, you know, or they don't like being a passenger in a car. There's lots of things that.
But you didn't do your due diligence, so that's on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the thing. It's taking responsibility for what's happened in the past and acknowledging that and saying, right, what can I do different? Because if things haven't worked out, then you have to look at what did I learn from those experiences and how can I implement that moving forward in my relationship? And I think what we're speaking about right now for men is one of the first things you could do, like your choice, but obviously we'll recommend is start vetting your woman, start finding out more about her, because then that way
self-awareness,
self-awareness, and then if the other relationships haven't worked out, it's because of that. One of the reasons, or probably the biggest reason. So now you can implement that into moving forward. So you do date better, and you do end up having a relationship that's going to be ongoing and last, if that's what you want.
I agree. I like that. So let's get on to point 2, guys.
For red flags, this is where most meet their downfall. Pay attention to her attitude, her behavior, her demeanor. Some important questions to ask yourself is, how does she act in public? How does she dress? What are her mannerisms around you like? Is she constantly in her phone, or is she pouring her attention into you? We all tend to have this bad habit where we can overlook red flags and we can reduce how important they actually are. Save yourself the trouble if you see the beginning of those red flags waving in front of you. Now, keep in mind that women are very smart, so she's going to be very on guard. She's going to present her best self, so you'll have to read in between the lines and catch the subtleties that she's throwing. For example, if you ask her how her day was and she starts talking about financial strain, wanting to do this and that, but she doesn't have the actual funds to do it, she's testing to see if you're an easy come up. If she's displaying these tendencies, she's automatically disqualified from deserving you off the rip. Number 3.
Wow.
Isn't it, Michael? Wow.
Look. She dropped some gems here. And again, we're not here to attack men or women, but
no.
If you're ignoring red flags, that shows me multiple things. Number one, you probably don't get if you're a guy, you probably don't get a lot of women. If you're a girl, then you probably don't get a lot of proper male attention. And I use the word proper male attention, because ignoring red flags is part of your downfall. You cannot keep creating excuses for somebody just because you have a connection with them or you find them attractive. And that's what she was saying. If she posts like thirst traps online, you can't be like, well, it's okay. Like, no, like it's an issue. If she has a bad attitude, like let's say you're at a restaurant and she treats like the waitress wrong, or she's always on her phone, those are issues.
Big time. Because we were just literally having this conversation, wasn't we, about attitude. And I mean, I'm a woman, as you know, and I used to have an attitude when I was younger. But until I started to realize it gets you nowhere, and it's so rude and it's so not nice, and I dropped that attitude. Every so often I can have an attitude, but I think so many women have attitude this day, and and like we said before, it's all about them. And that example you gave of going to a restaurant, if your woman has treated that waitress or that waiter badly, isn't that just a massive red flag? Isn't that telling you, look how she disrespects people, because she's disrespecting herself by being like that in the first place? And if you can spot that and understand that, then you can say, okay, this girl might be pretty, but there's lots of pretty girls out there. And you don't need to be with someone, because that attitude will come out eventually towards you. It will. Right. You've got no other choice.
You're disqualified.
Yeah.
That for me was like
that's it.
What she's saying, there's no
Mic
exceptions. You're disqualified. You're done.
Yeah, you're done.
Like, we can have a talk about it, but I love what she said, because when you first start dating someone, of course, you're going to put on their best face.
Yes, but that's what we were saying, right?
Right. So the only factor that you can really see who a person is time, because eventually they start to get comfortable. They start to get relaxed. Then you start to kind of see like behind the curtain.
And I want to add that what my personal thing, right, is people often will say, but it was all a waste of time. So let's say you're getting to know a woman and it's been about 3 months now, and you've invested 3 months of your life, and you say, I don't want to just leave because I've invested time into her. No, that's experience. You've learned experience from that so that you can move on, and you're now even more aware of these things that disqualify somebody. So you can then, it can be a quicker process. But too many people hold on to the fact, and then time moves on and on and on and on, and they go, oh, it's been 5 years, I don't want to go through that process of meeting somebody else now, so I'm going to stick with this person. Unhappy. So I really want to say, like, please, people, stop looking at it as it's a waste of time, or you've wasted your life, or it was a lie, or whatever. I hear so many times, oh, it feels like it was a lie. No, it was what it was, and now it is what it is. It is completely two different time spaces, right? Your past is your past, and your present is your present, and it's up to you to create that future with who you want in your world. And if you need to take 3 months out to get to know somebody and then let them go so that you can be with someone for the next 40 years, do that. If you spend a year doing that, so what? It doesn't matter. Just take the time, so when you do walk into that relationship, you know that, yes, I'm not saying it's going to be 100% smooth sailing. Obviously not. Life doesn't work like that.
Nope.
I wish it would, but no, it's like, it's nice. You get the challenges through your day, and things you've got to overcome actually keeps us on our toes, So yeah, like, it's that whole thing of, I just wanted to highlight the fact of feeling like just because you invested some time, you don't want to walk away because it was a waste of time. And it's not a waste of time, it's experience.
But it's being able to let go and accept. And
yes.
I think a lot of times people can't do that. They cannot accept.
Yes.
It's like, well, let me try to stay and try to fix this person. I'm going to try to play doctor. I'm going to try to play therapist. It's like, you're not there to fix somebody.
No.
It's your job. So let's see what she has to say about point number 3.
3, know your deal breakers. Now, what does this mean? There's certain things that you can tolerate and certain things that just absolutely get under your skin way too much. These are the things that you cannot compromise on by any means. That's what you're looking for here. You're looking to see what traits you can by no means live with. You know better than anyone else. If you pick up on something that she does that rubs you the wrong way too much, don't convince yourself that you can handle it. Never meet someone with the expectation that you will one day be able to change them, because you can't bank on that. Now, on the other hand, you also have to be very honest with yourself to make sure that your deal breakers are actually legitimate and not outrageous. Number 4.
Deal. You know what? Like, I love the fact that she said that about deal breakers. Stop giving certain people exceptions to the rule. If a woman lies to you about something, address the lie. But it's a deal breaker, especially if you've informed the individual. Like, let's say I'm getting to know a girl and I tell her, like, hey, like, I've been lied to in the past. I don't appreciate liars. And she still continues to lie to me.
Done.
You're out.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing, like, guys, stop making up excuses. Like she said, it's so true. Oh, it'll be, I can get her to change that, or I can take. No, a person is who they are. They're showing you who they are. Take notice. And if it doesn't fit with you, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It doesn't mean anything other than it doesn't fit with you, and it's not going to work with you. If it's going to rub you up the wrong way, you're going to come to a point where you're going to start feeling stressed out about it, because this is the person you're going to walk forward with in life, and you've got experience that time after time, because you make up excuses hoping that they will change, or then asking them, well, why do you do this? Why don't you just do it like this? Because that's not who they are. That's just not who they are.
Yeah, but the guy's excuses are, you don't understand how she makes me feel. You don't understand what we have. And it's like, the feelings don't matter in this moment.
Yeah.
What matters is, this person lied.
Yes.
Whatever it is, because you got some people out here that lie about their jobs. It's about the fact that they lied. that they were dishonest,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you should always forgive people, but that doesn't mean I need to date you.
Yeah.
You are disqualified. A deal breaker for another guy should be if you find out that she does like OnlyFans, or you look at her Instagram and she's got like thirst traps, that's a deal breaker.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we've got to stop making up excuses, guys. Like,
Well,
if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Like me personally, I don't like dating women that post too much on Instagram. It's too vain for me.
Yeah, but then you might have a guy who is more than happy with that, and that doesn't bother them. It doesn't, but it depends on each person. You can't say it's like it's each person's own choices, what they like, what they don't like, what works for them and what doesn't, because you've got to be with that person. Nobody else. You can go and ask your friends, all of your friends, and you can get 10 people's advice, but it doesn't matter what they say, because the end result is you have to wake up and you have to live your life and you have to experience what you're experiencing throughout your world. So if you're choosing the wrong woman, then, and it's all negative, then don't look at the woman and say it's your fault. Look at yourself and say, what's my choices? Why this is a bad choice of my own, right?
But let's also be honest. I would advise guys not to date a woman that posts too much on Instagram, because the thing is, she's keeping the door open. All the likes, all the comments. So on the days that you don't treat her the best,
she's going there.
She might have a second suitor in out of any one of those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve's not treating me well today, but John's been in the DMs for months. That's why I suggest guys, like, not all guys, some guys don't care, but I just say, hey, if you're gonna date someone, make sure she's not posting all the time on Instagram, unless it's for business purposes. But like, if she's constantly posting like thirst traps, like with her tongue out and like all those, no, that's a deal breaker. Let that go.
Yeah, and if the woman says, well, you have to choose between, like, no, this is who I am and this is what I do, and if you don't like it, basically she says, you don't like it, I'm not going to lower what I want to suit you, so why should you lower what you want to suit her? If you don't like it, you don't like it. And if she doesn't want to, she chooses, because a lot of people are addicted to Instagram, and they don't know the difference in that. It's probably been doing it for so long that they don't know what it is to actually feel good without Instagram, without having people like their pages. So she probably find it very difficult. But if she really wants to be with you, and if she really wants to be with you, and she truly is with you and is in love with you, respects and honors you, then she will stop doing that. Because
exactly, and I will give an advocate for that. Never tell a woman what to do. But if she likes you and you just tell her before you guys get into the relationship, I do not commit to women that do X, Y, and Z. You're not telling her what to do. If she's sitting there like, oh, wow, like he doesn't commit to women that post those type of photos, you didn't tell her to stop posting. You're just putting value on your commitment and saying, I don't commit to that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Absolutely.
difference. Because if you tell a woman what to do, of course she's going to give you pushback. Of course she's going to feel some type of way, because the world has been telling women what to do. But if you just tell them, hey, I don't commit to that, she has a choice. She can keep posting on Instagram, or she could say, you know what, maybe I should tone it down. This guy's a great guy. He's a guy I want to be with. And that's it. So we're going to move on to point number 4.
Know what traits you cannot live without. This one actually piggybacks off the last one. What qualities are non-negotiable for you? You know what you want in a partner, so don't toss that aside thinking that it won't one day come back and bite you, because it will. Hold these qualities that are absolutely non-negotiable in your mind and compare them to the qualities that you see in her. If they do not match, don't put yourself through the stress. Once again, never meet someone with the expectation that one day they will be able to change or you can change them, because you cannot bank on that. Number 5, pay attention to how she treats herself and others. You know how they say that the way a man treats his mother is a good indicator for how he will treat his woman? Yeah, the same exact thing is true for a woman. The way that she treats herself and others is a great indicator of 2 things. 1, how she values herself, and 2, also how she will treat you. If she has a history of treating others badly, don't make the mistake of thinking that you're any different. A great way to make sure that you're actually seeing things clearly and for how they are is to put yourself in the position of those around her and think about the way that she acts towards them. If you start feeling turned off or not wanting to deal with it, etc., then you know that she isn't qualified for you. Now, on the other hand, if you actually feel comfortable around her and you want to be in her presence, then that means that she meets the standards for someone who may be a compatible partner for you. It's all about choosing correctly. This is someone that you're going to be bringing into your life to build and grow with. Don't just leave it up to chance. Qualify her to be with you first to avoid going down a road that you'll later on regret. So until the next video.
Yeah, I like her point.
I like what she said near the end. How a woman treats herself. I think that's highly important. How she treats herself. Does she go to the gym? How is her self-talk? How is her attitude towards herself?
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll have a lot of women with poor attitudes toward themselves. Like, I'm not saying that, we don't have days when we don't feel the best, but if she's always like, well, I'm ugly, nobody wants me. It's like, am I going to have to deal with this for the next 40 years? Like, that's literally going to be like my thought process. Like, I don't want to deal with that for the next 4 years. So I think how she treats herself is going to be a huge indicator of how she's going to treat you.
And look, people give themselves away, really, if you really take notice. They do give themselves away. You just, like we said before we went live, we was having a conversation, we were saying about attitude, but people always bring their best self first there to be able to have that sweetness and have that connection and build something, and then the cracks slowly but surely will show. You can't keep acting somebody that you're not. So it will come to a point where you pick her up and she just gets in the car like, oh, I've had a bad day today. Like, well, you didn't do that before. I've never seen you do that. Oh, and then she starts continuing like that all the time, because now she's going back into her, how she has been. So yeah, I think, being negative. And that's why I said at the beginning as well, it's like, listen to how she speaks about her exes. Listen to how she's, does she let it go, or is she still playing the victim through what's happened? And I think that's a huge part of it. You've really got to just listen. And it sounds like all too much work, doesn't it? But actually,
it's worth it.
It's worth it. It's so worth it.
One of the things I would say for guys to qualify a woman, does she get on your program? Now, obviously, you have to have a program to get on. Can't be a brokey, but do you have a program that she can get on, and is she willing to get on that program? So again, if you're like, well, look, if we're going to build a life together and we're going to do X, Y, and Z, but she's all like, well, I want to keep posting my sexy photos on Instagram. She's not willing to get on your program.
That's right. She's really not. She really is not. No.
So
at the end of the day,
do that, then it's like you're disqualified. You know what I mean?
But she's still seeking attention from other males, no matter which way you look at it. She's seeking attention from other males.
Exactly. Or you tell her, like, I don't commit to women with a bunch of guy friends. And she's like, well, I'm keeping my guy friends. Well, then you can be single then. Like, wow. Like,
it's quite straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's not complicated. People feel like it is, but it's really not, because it's you setting a standard and a tone for yourself.
But do you know what just came to my mind? Say you said to a woman that, and then she turned around and said, oh, I'm not getting rid of them. And then you sat and explained, like, how important it is within the relationship. And she still says the same, then definitely walk.
Oh, yeah, sure. Like, I'll always explain 100%. Yeah. I will always do that. But if she's still like, no, I don't want to give it up. And no one's asking you to give it up. It's just, I don't want to commit to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have every right. It's your prerogative to do that, and your prerogative to choose who's right for you. And the same from a woman to a man. And I think what
fits for you, I think that's the difference. What fits for you in that time and space where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we're always growing and changing, right? But I think there's like some stuff that doesn't grow and change, like your principles and values, but we're always ever growing and changing as people. So I would always just try to tell people, especially men, stop falling for the okie doke. She might look good. She might have a huge badonkadonk. She might have huge this, but how does that benefit your life?
Doesn't
long
in any
term.
way. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. Let's not get it wrong here, man. Like that, all that stuff, awesome. But if you don't get the substance, it doesn't mean jack.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I
And
totally
it goes for a
agree.
woman too. If you get a guy and he's got washboard abs, chiseled face, looks good, but he's as dumb as a bag of nails,
Then where we going with it? You can't have a conversation. You know what? And I actually experienced that with a friend who was just actually constantly just checking himself out, and it was like, this is too much. I actually, it's just too much. You just can't. You know, you want to be able, if you're going to be out and about with somebody, you want to be able to have a conversation, be able to communicate with things and have a laugh and whatnot, not watch the other person just check themselves out the whole time. It's like, well, this is not stimulating me in any way, shape, or form.
yeah, like they would be your hot little plaything, but never like, I can build with this individual.
Yeah, can't do anything with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll hook up with you, but I won't give you commitment. And I've realized that people don't like to hear that, but it's true. Because women will do it with guys. They won't commit to a guy, but they'll happily sleep with him. He's good looking enough. He's Chad, he's Tyrone. But as soon as men switch it around and say, well, I would only sleep with you, but I won't give you commitment. You're mean. You only want to use women for their bodies. You don't care about, you do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. One rule for one and one rule for the other, hey?
Same thing. It's just when a guy does it, it's like way more terrible. It's like if a guy
stands out.
If a guy cheats, it's like, yo, let's castrate him and pin him to the cross. But when a girl cheats, oh, you know, she wasn't happy.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a reason and an excuse behind it.
Yeah, like she gets a free, and she wants to go find herself. You know, she wasn't happy. A guy cheats. Oh my, you don't hear the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So look, guys, we really appreciate you showing up. You're gonna get the short clips for these tomorrow. Anthea will be posting them on TikTok, so don't you worry. And on
our private TikToks as well, by the way. So
yeah, she also has private TikToks as well too. And then you guys can tune in for tomorrow's episode, which is going to be a crazy one because we haven't discussed this ever.
Wednesday's episode, you mean?
Yeah, Wednesday's episode.
Yeah.
We've never discussed this ever, but it's should a man be emotional with his woman? We've never talked about it, and
we haven't, have we?
Never, ever.
I look forward to it, guys.
So we're gonna have the discussion from a man's point of view, Anthea's point of view as a woman. So, as I said, you guys will have the clips tomorrow. We're gonna have a way more structured show. Things are gonna be a lot more crazy, fun, and eccentric. Anthea's actually gonna take the lid off. You know, a lot of times she's afraid to say so, but I'm like, just let the lid off. Just let it out.
Are we ready?
We'll deal with it after. So again, you're going to get a lot more edgier and fun show. And before you go, I want you guys to understand, we're not dating coaches. What we are is we just like to reveal uncomfortable truths. And what you guys do with it is up to you after. If your relationship prospers because of what we tell you, awesome. If your relationship breaks up because of us, and you're like, hey, these people made me break up with my person. All we did is just vigorate the
highlight.
Process. That's all we did. We just helped you move it along to say this person truly wasn't for you. You just couldn't admit it. You heard what we said on our podcast and you were like, damn, they were right. Okay, I do need to leave this person. That's it. So we're here to have fun. We're here to talk about truth. We're here to, not our truth because art, it's irrelevant, our truth.
No, it's like experiences, isn't it? We've also had our own experiences that we know what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly.
We're very clear on what doesn't work and what does work.
Yeah, just facts. And when we share videos, these people are sharing and saying, well, this is what works and what doesn't work. And you can sit there and cry about it and say, well, I don't really like that. Like, well, you know what? Too bad. Because if you look at your history, your dating history, like a job looks at your history, everything else, your dating history sucks. So let's not play devil's advocate. If it sucks, it sucks, but you can improve it. And that's what matters the most.
Yeah. Start from now and move forward, especially we're in January 2023 now. This is the time to actually move forward in the right way in our relationships.
Yeah, you can't sit there and tell me I'm tired of my dating pool, but yet 2022, you were dating badly, and then you're continuing the same patterns in 2023. Like,
yeah, exactly.
No, like you can't be afraid.
Leave it behind you.
Exactly. So look, we're going to close out the show. As I said, guys, we're going to leave all of our surprises throughout this week. We love our audience. We appreciate the people that tune in, view us, watch us, comment, and we are going to make sure that we give you the show that you deserve. So we will see you guys on Wednesday.
See you later, guys.